In other news, the Deputy Minister of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, Parks Tower, has been meeting people from various sectors, including, I understand, the private sector, to find ways in which they can collaborate and help cities and towns recover from some of the problems they're facing. As you know, in many parts of the country at the moment, council services are falling apart, water problems in Verilam, electricity problems, potholes in many places. The situation in Dutsabotla can't even be explained. Parks Tower is the Deputy Minister of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs. Deputy Minister, good afternoon to you. What kind of collaboration are you looking for here? What are you trying to do with these stakeholders?
Good afternoon and thank you very much. We are engaging with a variety of stakeholders, both private and public sector, including donor organizations and NGOs, on what support can be provided to enhance the work of our municipalities. Some of these include engagements around project preparation facilities with the Development Bank of Southern Africa, where there's grant funding available to municipalities to prepare their projects and programs for funding from different agencies, for grant funding, blended financing, and other financing mechanisms. We're engaging with the private sector, in particular the NPI, the National Business Initiative, and the Public-Private Growth Initiative on the support that they can provide to municipalities. And this includes mobilizing experts in various fields based on needs of municipalities to assist in engineering, in accounting, in addressing the audit outcomes, and a whole range of other issues that municipalities need to address. But it is also about them mobilizing their member companies on what they can bring to bear on the work that needs to be done in the respective areas in which they work. Because in reality, firms are located in municipal jurisdictions, and they would want to ensure that these jurisdictions function optimally. And the ability to mobilize them as partners in addressing the challenges that we confront is crucial. And both the organizations have indicated their willingness and preparedness. We have an MOU with both of them, finalized. In fact, we had a detailed workshop with the NPI at the end of the year, but we've been engaged with the PPGI for almost a year now in consolidating this partnership. And some of it has actually started in Ehlanzeni, in Mpumalanga. The PPGI is actually quite active in terms of addressing the challenges there. So those are some of the partners that we've identified. But we've also talked to international partners. The World Resources Institute, which is a very huge global NGO, has come to the party. They are currently doing work in the city of Johannesburg and in Nelson Mandela Bay, looking at water resilience in particular. But they're also working with the department on the implementation of the Integrated Urban Development Framework. And by today, they've sent the revised MOU, which had left at the end of the year, for the next cycle of implementation over the next 3 years. So we are quite excited about the appetite from these partners to work with us, partner with us in addressing the challenges in local government.
Are you talking about companies and stakeholders like this just working behind the scenes, planning, management of money, things like that? Or are you talking about a more practical role, companies taking over, filling in potholes or managing traffic lights, for example?
It is partnership dependent, so the companies would have to express the areas in which they would want to work, and we would have to go through processes, because ultimately it is a partnership with municipalities. All we are doing is to facilitate these partnerships and bringing this to the attention of municipalities to say, we've mobilized these partners. These are the areas in which they are prepared to work. This is the capacity and resources that they have. Can they come to the party? So we've seen partners come to the party to address, let's say, potholes in a particular jurisdiction. But other partners come on board and say, we will provide the expertise to help you plan your bulk water services. So we require consulting engineering capacity to be able to advise the municipality. So it's very ultimately partner dependent.
Deputy Minister, you're probably going to think this is quite a rude question, but let me put it to you. Councils have both a legal competence and an obligation to provide certain services. And let's be clear, isn't it for political reasons that they failed? Isn't it a complete failure of politics? So for any company to give any help to a council is basically helping a council to do what it should be doing for people for free, and often has the money to do it. I mean, look how many councils take money from people for electricity and don't pay that money to Eskom. So let me sort of put it quite bluntly. Why should anyone help a council that can't do anything?
Well, firstly, I should say that the partners have expressed great appetite to come to the party, understanding the challenges that we have and wanting to contribute towards ensuring that our municipalities and our countries function. So from the point of view of them having agreed to come to the party, it is an indication of a commitment to ensure that it works. Now, coming back to your initial question, we've done a comprehensive assessment of what the challenges are that we confront in local government. Certainly, some of them are governance issues, and these are about political leadership, about political and administrative interface, about the decisions made, quality of decisions, etc. But there are issues that are systemic. There are issues around the fact that many municipalities function in jurisdictions that do not have a revenue base and are unable to generate their own revenue to be able to execute their responsibilities. Some of it is about structural changes currently being experienced in municipalities, whereas electricity was identified as a revenue generator and the ability to create a surplus for municipalities. The reality is, as a result of load shedding and other issues, this has become a burden on our municipalities. So there's a comprehensive list of issues that we need to confront and enable municipalities to be able to support. I've just had a session with our results management office in the department, which is a team of experts that's working with us and in these partnerships with the private sector. And one of the issues we've identified is that you require expertise in terms of engineers, accountants, to be able to resolve some of these. And yes, we've brought in some of them, but we also require additional expertise, and the private sector has said they are happily prepared to come to the party and assist and ensure that we're able to make our local government system work. In particular, when we're talking about making local government work, we're also talking about access to the most basic services. It is about access to water, the management of wastewater treatment works. It is about waste collection, the management of our roads, etc., the implementation of housing projects. And we can tell you the numbers about how much local government has contributed to addressing backlogs in this regard, but it doesn't mean that we do not need partners to accelerate this work and ensure that we're able to achieve more.
Mr. Mayor, for a long time, 10 years, you were the mayor of Joburg. You'll remember I reported on your mayoralty for a long time. And you and I live in the same city. I presume you and your family still live in Joburg. And in almost every part of Joburg now, you see things falling apart. In some parts of the CBD, it looks like the roads almost disappeared. There are potholes literally everywhere. So many traffic lights don't work. They never get fixed. They never work. I know some of them are run by the province, but they never work. And let me be clear, if I may, Deputy Minister, personally, I mean, I grew up here. It breaks my heart. Does it break yours?
As a resident and former mayor of the city of Johannesburg, it certainly does break my heart that the challenges that we confront are affecting the city of Johannesburg. And I think it's something that requires attention, but also we are working with the city of Johannesburg in terms of mobilizing, as I indicated, the World Resources Institute and others to come to the party. I should say that it is demonstrative of the need to build the capacity that I'm talking about. The reality is that we're at a point in the city of Johannesburg where this was the city that's spending the most on infrastructure of any other municipality in the country per capita, not just in terms of the amount, but actually in terms of the number of people that you're servicing. And this required that you have excellent capacity in treasury management, in engineering capacity, to be able to help mobilize the resources, to convince the market that they can invest in this institution, which they happily did. But over time, institutions lose that capability, and it is about not only rebuilding that capability, but bringing partners to come with us on this journey of rebuilding capability that we have lost, but in those municipalities that don't have the capability, actually helping to build and support that capacity to do this sort of work. And, you know, one of the discussions we had, for example, with the DBSAs, they say, look, we've got resources available for project management or project preparation facility, the ability to design a project to the point that you can take it to the market and you can be able to raise money. The vast majority of our municipalities simply just don't have that capacity. You require expertise to come to the board. to come on board to help us design those projects so that you're able to get it to the point where it can be implemented.
Deputy Minister, I'm afraid we have to leave it there. Parks Tau, thank you very much indeed. Deputy Minister of Cooperative Governance.